Welcome to PraDa Law Live, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jackie Mendez, and I'm your host for today's show. Today's show, we're going to be talking a little bit about family law, a little bit about bankruptcy law, and before we introduce our attorneys, I want to remind everyone about that number that's on the screen, 888-88-LEGAL. That's the number you want to call. The consultation's free, the call is free. And let's go ahead and introduce our partners here at PraDa Law. First up, we got Daniel Silver.
Hi, everybody. Pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
He'll be talking a little bit about family law today. Next up, we have our partner, Alexis Garcia.
Hello, Jackie. Hello, panel. Hello, everybody out here with us this evening. Thanks for being here.
And she'll be talking a little bit about bankruptcy law. And of course, our partner, the lovely Jennifer Pratt.
Thank you, Jackie. You're so kind. It's a pleasure to be here with everyone this evening.
Ladies and gentlemen, 888-88-LEGAL. The call is free. The number is easy. The consultation is free. Let's jump right into the conversation. Jennifer?
And I want to start this evening by just saying that your hair looks absolutely lovely today.
Thank you for noticing.
It's like I've never noticed it before. It is a beautiful straight hair and beautiful curly hair.
Thank you. You got the curls on today.
We did a little swap today, correct? And you look lovely in that white jacket.
My new jacket. Thank you.
And Attorney Silver, that tie is just popping. So let's get right into it.
Am I on The View?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You're on The View.
You're on The View, but you're on PraDa Law Live, ladies and gentlemen, and the number on the screen to call is 888-88-LEGAL. Let's jump into the conversation.
No, but we want to hear your views. We want you to participate. We want you to call. The consultation's free. Come on by. Offices in Midtown and Doral here in Miami, Florida. And we're going to be talking family and bankruptcy. And one of the things we're going to talk about today is something that I'm not very good at. I'll be honest. I'm saying this on the record, is math, right? And you start talking about interest and how to calculate interest, you lose me, Jackie.
Don't ask me.
Right? I mean, you totally lose me. But someone who knows statutory interest around here and how it interplays both in family law and in the bankruptcy cases is our attorneys. And thank God for them, because I don't do math, right, Attorney Silver?
I mean, I'm a lawyer. I'm not a mathematician, but I can help out with some interest issues. And here's what we're talking about. What we're talking about is anyone who has a judgment, a money judgment, is entitled to interest on that judgment. And there's a statutory rate of interest, which is basically provided for by the Florida statutes. And you're entitled to that interest if you have a judgment.
So let's talk about it, because in the family context, whether you're the man, the woman, whatever it is, you may have a money judgment against the other party for either child support and or alimony. And we know who you are out there. We're talking to you right now, the person who hasn't received a dollar from the person that owes you the money. It's been years. So we're not talking, right, Attorney Silver, about someone who hasn't been paid in a month or two.
Right. Statutory interest is not going to apply if someone missed their child support payment or alimony payment a few months ago. What we're talking about is a situation where someone hasn't paid for years and years. And it happens very, very frequently, because it's one of these problems that just gets swept under the rug, and maybe someone doesn't want to deal with it, but even so, that interest could be accruing in your favor, and we want to help you.
Okay, and the way we can help you is by you calling that number on the screen, 888-88-LEGAL.
And statutory interest is so interesting at the same time, because a person may think that they're owed $20,000, $10,000, $15,000 over the course of 5, 7, 10 years that the child support and or alimony hasn't been paid. But when they come to our office and we analyze the date of judgment and we tell them that they're actually entitled to a whole lot more, Attorney Silver, their reactions are usually pretty priceless.
Right, because what happens is that person who's owed money, they go to the clerk of court and they get what's called an arrearage affidavit, which basically says this is the amount that was owed per month. They have pages and pages and pages of payments and non-payments, and then at the end it hits a number and it says you're owed $20,000. However, that arrearage affidavit doesn't factor in statutory interest. That's our job, not the clerk's office job.
Right, okay. Thank you so much, Attorney Silver. Number on the screen, 888-88-LEGAL. The call is free. The consultation is free. This show is live. You can call in at any time during the show and ask any questions that you may have.
But because we offer a full range of services here at PraDa Law, I want Attorney Garcia, because for real, this seems like never ending, right? This seems like it could just go on and on. It's like the song, that never ends, right? Just on and on.
Interest is not going away.
It will never go away.
It's not going away.
But I heard Attorney Garcia has a way to help this person out. So if you're in this situation, how can you help in bankruptcy?
Okay, well, first I always like to start off by saying your bankruptcy is not going to eliminate your obligations for alimony or child
Very
support,
important.
okay? So if you were thinking of filing a bankruptcy at 7 and just walking away, that's not going to be the case to repay this debt or this judgment. You would be looking for a Chapter 13, a plan under a Chapter 13 which would allow for a curing and maintaining of the debt. What does a cure and maintain mean? Well, what that means is we would file your bankruptcy, and on that date, which we know the petition date, you would be able to repay or cure everything that is owed. Those years of back pay that you owe your former spouse, you would be able to repay them that under this bankruptcy plan. Whatever interest has been calculated would have to be repaid as well. And then you would also have a second payment within your plan for what we call is the maintain. What is maintain? Well, that is making a payment as if you had never fallen behind. So in essence, you would make one payment to the bankruptcy court, and the bankruptcy court would give to your ex-spouse 2 checks, one for the arrearages owed and one for the maintenance or the new payments moving forward.
Thank you, Attorney Garcia. Ladies and gentlemen, we're PraDa Law, and we want you to give us a call. We want to solve your solutions, or help you solve them at least. That's the number on the screen that you need to call. It's 888-88-LEGAL.
That sounds like a cool band name, Cure and Maintain. I like that. Can you tell I date a musician? I date. Sorry. So anyway. Attorney Garcia, so let me get this straight. When the person files the Chapter 13, does that stop that statutory interest that Attorney Silver is trying to get me with?
Yes, it does, because the petition date is when you freeze and you take a photo of the debts, the assets, and everything that the debtor owns or owes. So at that point, the interest will stop accruing because you're going to start making the payments. Remember, you're maintaining. You're no longer falling behind, but you are curing the past, which is interest, fees, anything else which may have been lumped into that judgment.
Okay, and we definitely have to take a short little break, but before we do, I want to remind everyone, give us a call, 888-88-LEGAL. The consultation is free. The call is free. We're going to take a short break, but when we come back, we're going to talk to you a little bit more about this family law and bankruptcy law, what your rights are. We'll be right back. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen.
I know you're home right now asking yourself, how? How will I pay my rent, my mortgage, my bills, my credit card debt? I'm attorney Alexis Garcia with PraDa Law. I've personally helped people with financial problems over the last 10 years. I understand what you are going through. We saw people lose it all in the 2008 financial crisis. You don't have to lose it all. The consultation is free. Call us now. I will help protect what you have built. You have nothing to lose by calling us. Call us now. These are trying times. This deadly virus is affecting our health, economy, jobs, our small business owners. Bankruptcy protection may be able to save assets and immediately stop your creditors from harassing you. Small business owners, employees of business of any size, we know you need help. Call us now. We will help you get back on your feet. Don't wait until it's too late. This is the time to call.
Sé que estás en la casa ahora mismo preguntándote, ¿cómo? ¿Cómo voy a pagar la hipoteca, la renta, los biles, las tarjetas de crédito? Soy la abogada Jennifer Pratt con PraDa Law. Yo personalmente he ayudado a las personas con problemas financieros durante los últimos 10 años. Yo entiendo por lo que estás pasando. Vimos cómo la gente lo perdió todo durante la crisis financiera del 2008. No tienes que perderlo todo. Llama ahora. La consulta es gratis. Te ayudaremos a proteger todo lo que has construido durante todos estos años. Sabemos que estos son tiempos difíciles. Este virus mortal está amenazando nuestra salud, nuestra economía, nuestros empleos y a los propietarios de nuestras pequeñas empresas. La consulta es gratis. Llame ahora. Te ayudaremos a recuperarte. No esperes hasta que sea demasiado tarde. Llame ya.
And welcome back to PraDa Law Live, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jackie Mendez, your host for the show. We've been talking a little bit about family law and bankruptcy with our partners here at PraDa Law. And ladies and gentlemen, I just want to remind all our viewers watching us on the internet, on YouTube, there's a number on your screen. It's 888-88-LEGAL. This is a live show, and you can call in at any time and ask any of the questions that you may have.
That's right, Jackie. And when you call our office, you're going to get a free consultation, and you'd like to speak to Attorney Silver, you'd like to speak to Attorney Garcia, they're going to make themselves available to speak to you. First consultation is free. Before the break, we were talking about statutory interest. And believe me, I'm trying to keep you interested in statutory interest because I know this is not the most exciting topic. But listen up carefully. If you're owed alimony, if you're owed child support, or if you owe the alimony or child support and you haven't paid that obligation in many, many years, this is a show you want to listen up to. We've got really exciting information both for the person who's owed the money and the person who owes the money. Before the break, Attorney Garcia, you were explaining to us that filing a Chapter 13, while it's not going to make the debt go away, will help to maintain and then to cure, and then also maintain it. What I found the most interesting of all of that is the fact that it stops the clock. No more statutory interest keeps running because it's something that just goes on forever and ever.
Because the statutory interest is there to punish someone who's not paying. When you file the bankruptcy, you're starting to pay. You can't get rid of what has happened in the past. You know, you're going to have to cure that. But moving forward now, you are making that payment, so you shouldn't be charged the statutory interest.
And so another question I had was, when I filed the 13, let's say it's me, I owe $20,000, and there's already, let's say, another $5,000 in interest. So really it's 25. How does the bankruptcy court know that I owe the 20 plus the 5? How do they find out? Do I tell them this? Who decides that?
Well, initially, whoever files the petition, the debtor filing the petition, their attorneys who prepare the paperwork should list this debt. It should be listed as a debt within the schedules, okay? And it should be provided for. The initial plan, which will be submitted by the debtor based on the information the debtor feels is accurate. Now, the obligation will then shift to the spouse who's owed the money to file what we call a proof of claim. And the proof of claim should detail what payments were missed, you know, when was the last payment received, and should list any interest or fees that that individual feels that they are entitled to. Now, the obligation will switch back over to the debtor's counsel to review this proof of claim and to make sure it's accurate. Because as debtor's counsel, if I file the proof of claim, I find it to be inaccurate, I can object to it. And I can state my basis for my objection. Maybe the interest was improperly charged, maybe there should be less, maybe there's some fees that shouldn't be there, maybe I have proof of payment. So this is something that we can fight out in the court until the judge decides on the proper number based on what's presented before him.
Okay, thank you so much, Attorney Garcia. We definitely want to remind everyone, all our viewers, the number on the screen, 888-88-LEGAL. We have offices in Doral, in Midtown here in Miami, Florida. We're waiting for you to give us a call to find out some of your solutions.
And talking about how we file those proofs of claims and how that interest is calculated. Attorney Silver, I know we have a case in the office. I want to talk about that probably in the next break, but who prepares? How do we know? I know I'm owed 20 grand. How do I know? How do I prepare? How do I calculate this interest? I suck at math. How do I do this?
The problem is, in the context of a family case, when you're owed that 20 grand, it may be over the course of 10 years when someone is sporadically paying, and you have an arrearage affidavit from the clerk's office that has tens of pages of payments and non-payments. The perfect way to do it is to enlist the services of a forensic accountant. Given it may be several $100s to have an accountant do the calculation, however, it's not going to be subject to dispute, and that, you know, $20,000 in child support or alimony could have $5,000 or $10,000 in statutory interest tacked on it. So that $700 in accounting fees is going to be minimal compared to the thousands and thousands of dollars that is owed in interest, because you can't just go to court and expect that a judge is going to calculate the statutory interest for you.
Okay, Attorney Silver, thank you so much. Once again, 888-88-LEGAL. That's the number you need to call for your free consultation and for any questions that you may have.
Do I always need a forensic accountant? Is there any way I can figure out the interest? I mean, I'm sure I can like Google online and statutory interest calculator.
Yes, absolutely. And look, if you're owed interest for 1 year or 2 years, you could probably figure it out. But the scenario I'm talking about in the cases we've had in the office is someone that owes child support or alimony for, you know, over 10 years, and over that 10-year period has just made a few sporadic payments here or sporadic there. But it does make the calculation more difficult, because remember, every year the interest rate may change a little bit due to the Florida interest rates that are changing every year.
Yeah, what about what have you seen in the bankruptcy courts for any proof of claims, really? Right. How is interest, when you have a judgment like that, and I know we're coming up on a break, but is there a specific program or way you guys do it, a method? Or?
Well, there's a proof of claim, which is a standard form that creditors are required to file, and there's also an attachment you can use where you detail interest as well. That should be attached to it as well. You see this a lot. You see it more. There are arrearages in child support, but you see this more with mortgages. A lot of the mortgage companies, that's a topic for a different day, but that's where you see this the most.
Got it. Okay, thank you so much, Attorney Garcia. We have to take a short break, and we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be talking a little bit more about family law and about bankruptcy, so stick around. We have our partners here joining, actually 3 of our partners here at PraDa Law Live joining us today, so it's a pretty good show, a very informative show. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Thank you.
I know you're home right now asking yourself, how? How will I pay my rent, my mortgage, my bills, my credit card debt? I'm attorney Alexis Garcia with PraDa Law. I've personally helped people with financial problems over the last 10 years. I understand what you are going through. We saw people lose it all in the 2008 financial crisis. You don't have to lose it all. The consultation is free. Call us now. I will help protect what you have built. You have nothing to lose by calling us. Call us now. These are trying times. This deadly virus is affecting our health, economy, jobs, our small business owners. Bankruptcy protection may be able to save assets and immediately stop your creditors from harassing you. Small business owners, employees of business of any size, we know you need help. Call us now. We will help you get back on your feet. Don't wait until it's too late. This is the time to call.
Sé que estás en la casa ahora mismo preguntándote cómo voy a pagar la hipoteca, la renta, los biles, las tarjetas de crédito. Soy la abogada Jennifer Pratt con PraDa Law. Yo personalmente he ayudado a las personas con problemas financieros durante los últimos 10 años. Yo entiendo por lo que estás pasando. Vimos cómo la gente lo perdió todo durante la crisis financiera del 2008. No tienes que perderlo todo. Llama ahora. La consulta es gratis. Te ayudaremos a proteger todo lo que has construido durante todos estos años. Sabemos que estos son tiempos difíciles. Este virus mortal está amenazando nuestra salud, nuestra economía, nuestros empleos y a los propietarios de nuestras pequeñas empresas. La consulta es gratis. Llame ahora. Te ayudaremos a recuperarte. No esperes hasta que sea demasiado tarde. Llame ya.
Welcome back to PraDa Law Live. I'm Jackie Mendez, your host for today's show. We've been talking about family law, we've been talking about bankruptcy, and we definitely want to remind that you guys that this is a live show. You can call in at any time. The number is 888-88-LEGAL.
Thank you, Jackie. And Attorney Silver, we were talking about statutory interest in the family context. And listen up, if you're someone that's owed the money, I want to talk briefly, and of course we never disclose any names here on the show, but briefly about a case, and this is not the first case where this has happened, but in this particular case, Attorney Silver, I'd love for you to share with our audience how we are using statutory interest as a leverage in the negotiations of a case that is looking to be settled where the father or the other side filed and had absolutely nothing to do with statutory interest, and now all of a sudden...
Right. So this case we were talking about in our office, basically we're representing someone in a post-judgment capacity where the other side has filed a petition for modification of child support because technically he may be entitled to a $200 reduction in his child support. The problem is that the final judgment was entered over 10 years ago. He has $20,000 in support arrearages. So because even though he's able to save $2,000 or $200 a month in his child support, his attorneys didn't tell him, oh, by the way, you owe the statutory interest on that $20,000, and that could be like another 10 grand. So basically, we're using that statutory interest to say, hey, look, you may be able to reduce your child support, but those arrears are now going to be almost doubled.
Okay. Wow. That's not good. Okay, and that's why...
He's not liking the news.
No. Ladies and gentlemen...
He definitely wishes he would have looked before he left.
Right, or call PraDa Law.
Yes, yes, you have to know.
88 legal,
You need
isn't
to know
that
what
right?
battles not to pick.
That's right, because if this individual, and look, we're not talking about any attorney here. Everybody does their own thing, and sometimes we can't control the clients, okay? And if the client wants to file something, they want to do something, as long as it's ethically, within the range, we're going to do it. But we're not sure, by the way, if this person was or wasn't advised by their attorney. But if you would have come to PraDa Law, we would have told you, by the way, you might be reducing by $200, but just know that now, what's going to happen with the extra, let's say, $10,000 in interest?
Right, I mean,
does that now get like tacked on?
To be real, what's funny is in this case that we're talking about, the other side really came and attacked us with the horns of the bull and said, we're entitled to this modification. We got this modification. They tried to ram it down our throats. We said, okay, you can have that $200 a month modification, but let's hit you up with the $10,000 in statutory interest. And they were like, wait, what? Yeah, maybe we shouldn't have approached this so harshly and zealously, because now we have the upper hand, and I don't think they saw that coming.
Right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, PraDa Law, we're here to find solutions. That's definitely sure. And the number on the screen is 888-88-LEGAL. Give us a call. Consultation is free.
And look, we can't predict everything, right? Attorney Garcia, I know one of the things that's super important in the bankruptcy is trying to predict everything and see everything.
I mean, that's what I was gonna, throw in here as well, that the comment about, before you leap, that's a big deal in bankruptcy. Rushing in to file a bankruptcy a lot of the time is not the answer for anybody. The only time I ever recommend a quick filing of bankruptcy is if you have a sale date for your home. Like if you're about to lose your home, then I understand the need to rush. Other than that, you need to methodically and diligently review the law, review how it applies to you, review your finances, review how you've handled your finances in bankruptcy for 2 years. I delve into my client's life for the past 2 years before I file a bankruptcy, because I need to be prepared for anything that may come out.
Let me add something too. In the context of a marital and family case, filing a petition for dissolution of marriage is really an act of war. Yeah. So if you're ready to go to war, go to war. But point being, there's always room for a pre-suit mediation, or perhaps just attacking the problem a bit differently and not just running to court if you don't necessarily have to.
Right, agreed.
I mean, guys, I have a client, again, name shall be not disclosed at this juncture. We've been planning this person's divorce for the last 2 years.
Wow.
And that's how you do it.
Wow. So basically there's no rush.
Question.
Living with the
I have a
wife
question.
hanging out.
That's what I was going to say. Do they still live together?
Yeah.
How do you plan a
The
divorce
wife
2 years?
hanging
That's wild.
out, going to the family barbecues, taking the family pictures. And we about to do this. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but to me, that is smart.
Right.
That is really smart. I mean, God bless the wife, I'm sorry. But it's smart, because this individual came to us and said, I need to get a divorce. I know I want to get a divorce. What's the best way so that I don't end up in this huge, 5-year litigation or whatever, where ultimately it's just a bunch of attorney fees sometimes,
It's like Sun Tzu in The Art of War. Is you need to be able to negotiate from a position of strength. And it may take you a couple of years to get there with some proper planning. But it's much better to have an attorney and come up with a plan rather than shooting from the hip and all of a sudden 6 months later being like, maybe I shouldn't have filed this case.
And even in the bankruptcy context, right? Attorney Garcia, I don't know about years, but I know sometimes clients come, they want to file right away, and you're like, look, this is what we need to do.
I have a client right now, too, who, pressing me to file. And there's a couple things I need to line up first that I'm still asking her, and I'm still trying to, iron out before we take the filing, because it may affect one of the motions we need to file in the case.
If there's one thing about mistakes and law, it's that a small mistake in the early onset of a case can snowball into a monster mistake, and it can happen like that. So really, you need to have your ducks in a row. You need to plan accordingly. You have to experienced counsel that knows every single issue and every single area of your case. That way you can plan accordingly.
That's right, and you need to hire an attorney, here with us at PraDa Law. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't believe the show is almost over, but we're going to be back here, I think,
is this our last break?
I think this is our last break.
Production is our last break?
Yeah, so give us a call. The number's on the screen. The consultation is free. 888-88-LEGAL, ladies and gentlemen. I want to definitely thank our partners here at PraDa Law, Attorney Silva, Attorney Garcia, Attorney Pratt. Thank you so much for joining us. Once again, I'm Jackie Mendez. Jennifer?
That's right. If you see yourself in any of the situations we've spoken about this evening, give us a call. Consultation is free. The number's on the screen. It's been a pleasure to be here with you all. Last words, Attorney Silver?
If you're interested in interest, give us a call.
Have a good night, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Until next time.